Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to bring the attention of this House to the serious issue of train station accessibility. Not only is this issue of accessibility at our train stations a serious risk for safety for those who struggle up and down the stairs, it is also a limiting factor for the ability of all members of our community to participate fully in our society. It is a clear concern that a number of people who have trouble accessing the platforms and lifts or lack of lifts in our stations because of the absence of ramps and lifts is an issue for 7 of the 9 stations in the electorate of Newtown. It is worth noting that this situation is actually not something that was an issue just in the current Liberal government, but unfortunately after 16 years of the Labor government, only 1 station in the area that is now covered by the electorate of Newtown was made fully accessible to the people with mobility issues. The New South Wales Government in today's budget announced $890 million over 4 years for the Transport Access Program, which will in part be for new lifts. But unfortunately, there is no mention that any of this money will be in any way used to improve the access at stations in the electorate of Newtown. In fact, it's pretty unclear whether or not the stations of Redfern, McDonaldtown, Newtown, Stanmore, Petersham, Lewisham, Erskineville and St Peters will have any improvement to their accessibility over the commitment that has been made. And it is only 2 stations, Central Station and Newtown Station, that are fully accessible by lifts. It is true that the government is planning on putting 1 lift, and I say 1 lift, at Redfern Station at platforms 6 and 7. It is a little bit unclear if Eddie, the big issue vendor who has issues struggling with access at Redfern Station, doesn't need to catch a train at platform 6 or 7 at Redfern, how exactly Eddie is supposed to catch a train at the other platforms at Redfern Station that will not be serviced by a lift. So it doesn't appear to help Eddie, who is bound to a wheelchair, nor does it seem to help any of the students at the University of Sydney or the surrounding areas that may wish to access Redfern Station not via platform 6 or 7. But let's have a look at the other stations in the electorate, shall we? The Petersham Station. So Petersham Station, where local resident Joanne expressed her concerns recently to our office about the steep steps that are exposed to the weather at Petersham Station. Very steep steps where I myself have witnessed many elderly people struggling down those steps at risk of falling because of the failure to deliver accessible station access within our community. Joanne expresses that both of the entry points are deplorable, but on the Terminus Street side it is especially bad, where some 74 stairs need to be ascended and negotiated to be able to enter the platform. Clearly this rules out a whole lot of people in our community from being able to access what is supposed to be an accessible public transport system. At Stanmore Station we see that not only is the issue of steps at Stanmore Station a problem if you want to access the platform, but it's also an issue for grandparents, parents, students that each morning and afternoon, to be able to cross under the railway line, need to negotiate the stairs with their prams, with their walking frames, with their school bags and their sporting gear to be able to get from their homes to their public schools and back again under the train line. It's clearly also a problem for cyclists who want to be able to catch public transport and ride their bikes, who are consistently struggling with the steps at our stations. The same issue goes for Erskineville Station, where the steep steps are exposed to the weather, inaccessible for many in the community, and the same is true for both McDonaldtown and Lewisham stations. One mother who regularly struggles on our train system recently expressed despair to me. She said, "I might be sounding over the top, but seriously, when I am trying to navigate City Rail while pregnant and with my toddler, it makes it obvious that our train station and our train system was built by a privileged, able-bodied white man." She was seriously concerned by this situation. She was seriously concerned by how she negotiates our transport system, and it's understandable when you stand there and watch people negotiating the stairs what a challenge it is. So we've seen today in the budget that the government announced the acceleration of infrastructure projects, including WestConnex. We saw the government announce by the Treasurer a crack team that will halve the time of planning to construction for state significant projects. Neither of these will benefit the community, nor are they in the community interest. Instead, what we should be seeing is fast-tracking the Transport Access Program to make our stations accessible, and this should be the government priority. I hope that the government will listen to the distress and the concerns of the residents in this area in their failure to deliver accessible stations for our community, and do all they can to improve the access at our local stations.